Well, hello, folks, and welcome back to the long-running saga of this building of the Gypsy Moth. I don't mind telling you, it's been something of a battle. To get it to this stage has resulted in two goes at covering it. The first time I had a disaster using a covering which I'd purchased at a swap meet. It turned out it was rubbish, and that's the politest way I can describe it. It basically sagged everywhere after a week or so of the covering being applied, and I had to strip it all off. I then learned a new technique, which was to cover the wings and the tail surfaces in tissue and then silk. I got better at it as I went through, so you can imagine there are parts that I'm less than satisfied with. And then the nightmare of applying the paint finish. The silver on the wings drove me to distraction. I'm not 100% happy with it now, but I think it's got actually a bit of a weathered look that you might find on a real aircraft, and I can live with it. From 3 or 4 feet away it looks okay, and once it's in the air I think it'll look fine. So it's time now to get back to this build and push on and finish it off. I have the interplane struts to do. I've bent the exhaust pipe, but that needs brackets making. I need to put some sort of cockpit area in because it looks very silly to me at the moment without that, and it'll need to be rigged. So there's lots to come, and what I'm going to start today is actually, I think, doing the cockpits, or starting to do the cockpits. So strap in, folks, get your favourite tipple in your hand, and let's push on with this build. It's been a long time getting to this stage. The first stage in trying to put a bit of detail in here, perhaps is to paint the interior, but before I do that, I want to sort out the instrument panel. Now, it's a semi-scale model. It's a standoff scale, probably is the best way to describe it. I'm not going to go to the expense all the time of cutting out bezels for the instruments and printing and purchasing special kits to make them. What I've done is this. I've gone onto the internet, I've done a quick search, took us about 10-15 minutes, and I've found instrument panels which I think will look sort of okay. I'll probably use these three, and this is a temperature gauge which I'll leave on. I think it's actually from a tiger moth, but no matter, it's close enough. I've cut out a template with a little bit of trial and error that fits in here. I think it's too deep, it doesn't need to be this deep. And what I'm going to do is cut out around this, stick it on, stick some glazing on, and then use a piece of this mahogany ply to cut out an overlay, and that'll give a little bit of depth and a nice shiny bit of woodwork. That's the plan, although I haven't said that on this, they're often just shown as black. I don't know, I think I might go mahogany just to make it look a bit prettier. So I'll cut this out and we'll see what it looks like. There's the instrument panel stuck on. I definitely don't need some of this, so I'm going to cut off these instruments at the bottom because I think they are a later addition to a modern version of a tiger moth or a gypsy moth. So I'm going to cut these off. Keep it a little bit simpler. That looks a bit more appropriate, I think. Now you can see, really, at a glance, you don't need any fancy bezels. Let's say, if I put a bit of glazing over the top, and then create another layer over the top of that to make a sandwich, I think that'll be quite acceptable in the cockpit. So, I'll cut this to shape, and then we'll cut out various bits of wood and see which one looks the best, I think. And then we'll take it from there. So this is what I've come up with. I've glued on the photograph onto the bit of balsa. Got some acetate to put on there for the glazing. And I've just roughed this out. I've gone with a thinner ply. The mahogany was a bit too thick, I think. And if I put that over, it's only roughed out the holes. They're not, I think once they're cleaned up and made totally round, I think that'll look the business. That'll give enough of an effect to go in the cockpit. So I'll do that. And I'll have to do it twice, of course. I think the instrumentation must have been the same in both of them because it was for training pilots. Anyway, I'll get that cleaned up, glued together, and we'll see what it looks like in situ. Here we go then. I'll glue that onto there. And then this is the finished item. And I think that'll really just look cool inside the cockpit area. I need to make two of them, of course. The next stage, obviously, is glue this together, paint the interior and glue these in. Let's just have a quick look what it's going to look like. That's the desired effect, I think. So obviously I have to repeat it for the passenger or trainee front cockpit. Next thing I think I'll do is add the leather cladding along the leading edge of each of the cockpits, and there's a little bit of padding at the rear, I believe, and then there's some combing round here. I'll have to have a think about how I'm going to do that, but that's one thing done. Well, I'm calling this done now. You can see I've got the pilot in. Hope you can see that. I've added a little bit of detail around the door hatch, which is actually on the other side. You can see that there's a windshield up there now. Just waiting for it to go off and set. And when it does, I'll probably add some detail to the aluminium trim around the front, maybe some rivet heads. Obviously, I need to do the front cockpit area, but it's just going to be a repeat of this, so I won't bore you with that. I think the next video will be the installation of the motor. So thanks for watching. It's been a long saga this, but we're getting there, and I'm pleased with that little bit of progress. Got past a few sticking points, which is always nice. There we have it. The Gipsy moth. That's a gypsy with an I, not a Y, because it's the insect or the flying insect and not the people. Thanks for watching. Take care now. Give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Let's get creative.